And then those voices just started talking to me, like, you got to change, like, you got to change.
People tell you, oh, you're so lucky to be in Bali. I wish I could move. I wish I could. And you fucking can. Better, same.
Better racism.
It's better racism.
We have a good quality racism in our country.
China was, you know what? China, the owner of the studio was like, String, how you like China? I said, I don't know what these motherfuckers. Every time I go try to get a cab, they saying nigga. I said, what is up with that? You know?
And he said, I have a Kanye story. I was like, what? And he was like, you want me to tell you? No, wait for the podcast. So. Hey. And we're live once again. We found the name for the podcast. This is a good thing. It's called A Collection of Blueprints.
It took us a while. We're back and forth. Chris gave us the most ideas.
Yes.
It was just a shower of ideas. Every 5 minutes he was messaging me, Renars, how about this blueprint, that blueprint? It's like, shut up, man. Just do something simple.
It's a good name, though.
It was the other way around, actually.
And before we introduce our guests, Renars is going to explain you why it's called the Collection of Blueprint, because I have no idea why.
Collection of Blueprints. So basically, all of us, we have a story. It's our story of our life. Is kind of in a simple way to say, it's a blueprint. So we follow our blueprint, and we choose sometimes good one, bad one, but it's whatever we got. So the whole idea and the purpose of our podcast is to collect them, as many as we can, and different varieties, and just to show other people and share with that, and share with experience to other people, and just so you can see like how some individuals had their lives going, and a collection of blueprints.
Basically, just because it sounds cool. Sounds cool. And do you want to turn on that light?
No, it's fine. We have a very good light here.
And so this is the best place to start a podcast, because in Bali a lot of very interesting people live here.
100%.
Unfortunately, nobody could come today, so here we have String.
What do you mean nobody could come
today? Sorry.
That's like the worst. String, thank you so much for being here, man.
Thanks for having me. It's an honor to be here.
No, this is actually false. String is an extremely interesting person. I don't know much about him. Renars has a deeper connection with String.
Don't be telling all our business on here.
What?
Yeah, don't get jealous.
They don't know that yet.
That's the
part.
point.
They don't know that part yet.
And so we're here to discover String. So do you want to start asking some questions, Renard?
I would say if you could tell us in very short, like a short story about what you do now and what you did from early age to where you're getting, like how you are now.
How did you get here?
Yes, basically. What do you do now and how did you get here?
Okay, so now I'm just newly to Canggu, right? I've just been here about 3 weeks now. And
the new boy on the block.
And I'm teaching at a place called Odyssey Movement.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm teaching yoga, HIIT, boxing. But I've been in Ubud for a year now. I got here right before everything went down, right? So I got here February 1st. I did my yoga training in Ubud. I finished that. I took a trip to Koh Samui, Thailand, and then the shit happened, stayed, right? But originally I'm from the States. I'm from Vegas. I grew up in Vegas, went to university,
Vegas?
Las Vegas, Sin City. Right. So I grew up in Sin City and graduated, went to university after 2 years of working in TV production. I got a film degree. I worked in TV production for a local TV company and then decided to move to New York. So then I moved to New York, worked for CNN. And then,
what did you do for CNN?
So CNN, I was a sound guy, audio guy, but not so much focusing on audio. At CNN, they put you in different areas of the control room. Mm-hmm. So sometimes you might be receiving tapes, you might be sending tape to Atlanta, you might be working in lighting. You had different things, but that was my thing. So then after 9/11, life happened. Ended up in LA. Was there for 5 years. Hustled, production. Comedy, whatever, bartending, whatever to make money. Was done with LA, moved back to New York, worked for production companies, worked for Fox News. I don't know can we say that? I worked for Fox News for a little bit. And then
he's a Trump supporter.
I think at this point we can say anything here.
Okay, cool. So I worked for Fox News, and then the two co-founders of SoulCycle came in to do an interview. This is right when the markets crashed and everybody was going back to mom and pop shops. And so the two co-founders of SoulCycle came in to do an interview about SoulCycle, how they started it. So I got a free pass to come take a class. I'd already been doing spinning and stuff like that in LA. I knew two friends.
Can you just be a little bit closer to the mic?
Yes.
Yeah.
So I did that, and then became a SoulCycle instructor. Taught for them for 7 years. Life happened. Ended up in China for a year and a half for another startup studio. That changed. Ended up in Dubai for a year and a half, starting with another startup studio, and then took a minute because the last decade was just nonstop. That last decade, and my passport wasn't stamped. It wasn't stamped up. I was like, "You've done this whole." I looked at my passport. I'm 44 years old. I go to Trinidad for my birthday. I look in the passport. There's no stamps. There's like 2 stamps other than the one from Trinidad. And I was in the plane. I remember being in the plane, being like, "Something's got to change. Like, I can't keep going at the same rate."
Sorry, when did that happen? When was that?
This is 4 years ago. This is 4 years ago.
And then you realized that you basically never left the States.
I just realized that I was giving too much to the business, to working, and not enough to myself.
Yeah.
Right. And at that time, it was a turning point. You know, it's like I've been in New York for almost 10 years. What else can I do? And the job that I was doing wasn't fulfilling to me anymore. I wasn't really excited about doing it.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So I noticed a change, and that was August. And then I just finished culinary school at that time. And then those voices just started talking to me, like, you got to change, like, you got to change. Something's got to change. But prior to that, an opportunity came to me on LinkedIn for China, right? So I kept that on the back burner. And at that time, SoulCycle had gone corporate. The 2 co-founders who founded SoulCycle, they decided to sell their share of the company. Mm-hmm. It went corporate. So us original instructors who were making good money, I was making good money to teach a 45-minute, 60-minute spinning class. At that time, I went from 128th and Lenox down to Financial District, you know, nice apartment, door guy, nice, you know. And they started to phase me out, which corporations do sometimes when the corporation
That's what happens.
That's what happens in corporate world. You know, they produce too many studios. They're not making the money that they used to be, and they have to cut cost, right? Mm-hmm. So I was on the chopping block. But at the same time, it was great because I knew that a shift had to happen.
Yeah.
Right? I didn't particularly like the way that it went down because it was kind of shiesty the way that they phased me out, but I was ready for it. I was ready to leave New York.
And what was so different about SoulCycle? Is that the name of the company?
Yeah, so SoulCycle, they were like the first indoor cycling studio of New York.
Really?
So back in the day, they started in 2006. So back in the day, there was nothing like SoulCycle or boutique fitness in 2006. So they were the pioneers of boutique fitness. Now you see it all over the world, right? But they did their homework as far as the concept. You know, what can we do to bring people in here? What can we do to get people's money, right? What can we do to offer an experience? Right, so the studio is dark lit, by candlelit. The instructor's on the podium. There's 60 bikes in the room. There's no judgment because if you're overweight, no one can see you because it's dark in the room. The music is pumping.
So I could go.
That's the place for you.
You could go there.
Yes.
Yeah, no one will judge you. Ain't looking at you. Can't even see you.
You're such a beautiful soul. String, don't forget, just kind of a little bit closer to the mic. Sorry, buddy.
Yes.
So basically, you said, okay, it's time to go. Fuck New York. You went to China 1.5 years. You went to Dubai 1.5 years.
Yes.
Then you came to Bali and you got stuck because of Corona.
Yeah, but I don't say I got stuck. I say that I was blessed to be here.
You've been saved.
I was saved. I was
100%.
because I was not in a good place of after New York happened. I didn't give myself time. It was almost like a divorce or like someone died when SoulCycle ended because I had given my soul. I had sold my soul
to the SoulCycle.
To the SoulCycle. Exactly. And so I get to China. I'm done with that. I had like a week. I got rid of all my stuff, all my belongings, and then I'm in China. Winter time.
Yeah.
Not knowing how did this happen? I knew that life was there, that life was happening, but why was it happening and why was I in China?
Yeah.
You know? And I didn't have time to grieve. I felt like I was grieving, like a loss, like a loss.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, don't hold it there. It makes a little noise.
It makes
a
strange noise.
Strange noise.
I can't help but holding it.
It's just your energy.
So, yeah, so that's basically what happened. And then China was good for about a year, right? I went back and forth to the States and I realized that going back wasn't the same, right? You know, once you leave, you go back, you're thinking, okay, well.
Was it also your first time when you were so long abroad?
Yes,
It was the first time. And you
the
were,
first
how
time.
old you were first time being?
So I was 44.
44, first time being so long away. Wow.
Yes. And that was culture shock.
100%.
I think that's a very interesting point for many people because, and I talk about personal experience in my life, so many times I reached a point when I was like, I'm too old to do this. You know, 5 years ago, I could have done this, but now I'm too old. And I feel that with traveling is the same thing. With traveling is one of the things that I started doing very early, moving to other countries. But I feel that many people, and you probably get the same, down the train in Bali, people tell you, oh, you're so lucky to be in Bali. I wish I could move. I wish I could. And you fucking can. That's the truth. And it's all about making decisions. And so making a decision at 44 and say, you know what, fuck it. I want more from my life and I'm just going to see what's in the outside world.
Yeah, I mean, and plus, you know, I had no other option. I had to leave. Once I left the company, once I resigned, you sign a contract saying that you cannot teach for any
non-competitive.
Exactly, and it's 2 years. So I was like, okay, I'm not going to go back to LA. I'm not going back to Vegas. I'm going to China. People thought I was crazy. They were like, what? Why China? I said, life is taking me there. I don't know why, but it's taking me there. I'm just going to go.
And when you mentioned about the voices, I mean, what I call is the gut feeling. So for you, that was, how long was that period when you thought that I need to do something, I need to change, go somewhere?
Yeah, I mean, there's always, I mean, I don't know if you listen to Oprah, but Oprah talks about the voices.
Who doesn't?
Right? I mean, I've always had these voices from the time I was a little boy. I can remember the first time I had voices talking to me about things or, you know, whispers. She calls them whispers.
Whispers, yeah.
So the whispers started right before I turned 44. Two of my friends who taught me spinning, the two pioneers that taught me spinning back in LA when I was 30, they were partners. They taught me how to spin. They said, you're going to be a spin instructor one day. I was like thinking, okay, whatever. And it happened. When they both died at the age of 44, 4 years apart, I'm coming up on my 44th birthday and I'm thinking, okay, they were 44 when they died. What am I going to do? But the voices were saying they would have wanted you. They want you to do this. You've already done your stuff in New York. You've already done this. You've already walked down this avenue. How many times can you continue to do it? Yeah. And I remember it was winter time. It was starting to get cold in New York City about October. And I was living in a financial district and I was on my way to my class in Tribeca and I'm on that way and something just stopped me. Like there was no one on the street. It was just me.
Oh, wow.
And I'm sitting there. I get chills talking about this now, but I get chills. I'm sitting there at this bench and I put my bag down. I'm early and I'm like, okay. And I just sat there and the voices was like, it's time for you to go. It's time for you to go. So my last class was, I mean, of course, the things were happening with the corporate, you know, they were like, you know, your classes aren't, you know, whatever, packed anymore, but it was bullshit. You know, it's one of those tactics that they use to phase you out. And I contacted the person in China and I said, I'll be there next year. So this is October, November, December. I was already making my way. My passport was about to expire because I got it in 2006. And it was about to expire. So I had to really hustle to get this passport going. So it finally comes, right? And yeah, I bounced. I resigned.
And how was that? What was the biggest challenge, like leaving your friends behind? Because your family was in Vegas and you were in New York.
Well, I mean, the family situation wasn't that bad because I'm not close with my family. The only one that I'm close with is my niece. My sister was alive at that point, but she wasn't doing that well. She was, my sister battled with mental illness, depression, and drug abuse and addictions. And so we hadn't really been speaking. So my niece was my biggest concern because she's like my child. You know,
How old is she?
She's now 23, but at the time she was
a teenager.
She was at the time, we're talking 4 years
You should
ago.
bring her to Bali.
She was 19. Well, she's been. She's
pervert.
coming. She's coming.
Bring her over because it's awesome here.
Yeah. I know what you're trying to do.
Oh, whatever.
So he's not her type anyway.
Because he knows my type.
It's just a nice way to say she like black cocks. You're too small.
I put some chocolate on it.
Yeah, she's like her uncle. She like her uncle. She like him long and strong. Down to get the friction on. Nah. Yeah, so that wasn't a problem, but it was difficult. It was difficult to leave some friends, but
Right.
like I said, I had sold my soul to Soul Cycle. That I wasn't really spending that much time with friends anyway. I was teaching 2-3 classes a day. I had one day off,
shit.
so recovery period was my time. I really felt like I was alone in New York anyway. I was like, what am I doing? I don't have a partner.
Really?
I'm not dating anybody. There's nothing really happening here. So why not?
That's something similar like how I felt when I was in London for last year, 2 years, because I moved outside London in a little small town. Literally no people around me. So here I feel like I'm most social I've been in the last couple of years. You know, just the only person who fucks up my social life is you, Chris.
Yeah. I try to be the least social as possible.
Exactly. He just sends me photos of lasagna. Oh, look at what I cooked. You're not gonna get any of it. String. Tell me about this. How that is? So this is your nickname, or that's your name?
This is my surname is Stringfellow. That's my surname.
Stringfellow. That is your
Stringfellow. And my grandfather. So my grandfather's String. He was legend, and I get it from him. So family is dysfunctional, but
as all families,
it's most families. My mother kept us
String,
away.
sorry, buddy. Just lift it up because you're speaking on the top.
Okay.
Like
Is
here.
it here?
That's the one. Yeah.
you
yeah.
speak on the tip.
Okay.
Yeah.
I like the tip.
I know.
I
I
like
know.
the tip.
That's the one. Go the full on.
I love the tip. So my grandfather was String. He was legend. He was one of the first black narcotic cops of his time.
Oh, damn.
You can read about him. I mean, he's my mother kept us away from that side of the family because it's my father's father. But we always spoke, through my life. He would call and check in and say things, and not really even knowing him. The last time I saw him when I was like 3 years old. Both of them, my grandparents. So he was String. He was a cop. He became a narcotic cop. There's pictures of him with George Foreman. There's pictures of him with Martin Luther King, and I always knew, looking at these pictures, I'm like, who is this guy? Who is he?
Do you think we could find him on Google?
You can.
Yeah.
But my grandfather grew up in a time where, as a black cop, he could find the bad guys, but he couldn't arrest them. But he became so good at it in Houston, Texas, that there was a song on the radio that played that said, "String's gonna get you." So they knew that. The bad guys knew that this cop was gonna get you. He was that slick. My grandfather was legend.
What's his first name?
Edward Joe Stringfellow. He was just, and it wasn't until he passed. So I talked to him when I was on my way to New York. We spoke, and he reached out to me, and he was like, I just want to have a talk with you about your father. And I said, okay, Papa, like, what's up? And he said, I just don't want you to hate your father. And I said, well, Pop, I don't even really know my father. We've spoken, but I don't really speak to him. I don't even know him as a person. I said, but I don't hate him. How can you hate somebody that you don't even know?
Yeah.
He's like, I just don't want you to hate him. I said, okay, Pop, I moved to New York. I'm 28 at the time, and I was going to take a trip to Houston to see him. He had already had 2 strokes. My grandfather, that's how slick he was. He had his first stroke, but he was also, dipping and doing. He was very much like me. He loved people. He loved to be out socializing. And the doctors told him, you had a stroke. You can't be out in the street. You got to change your diet. But he was such a legend that he was like, fuck you. I'm going to eat my pig feet, my collard greens, my cornbread, and I'm going to go out dipping and doing. And that's what he was doing. And my grandmother just let him do it. She was like, he's String. Like you can't tell him nothing. He has another stroke. He's still out there dipping and doing.
Is he still alive?
He's passed away. He's passed away. So I didn't get to see him. I was on my way to see him in 2000. He just passed away. So he passed away in 2001, and was difficult for me. And so we go to the funeral, and I look in the casket, and it's like, it's me. Like we got the same eyes, because I have these long eyelashes, and I always wondered like who has them, because neither one of my parents had them. And I spent time with my grandmother that weekend, and my aunts, and they were getting to know. We were all reconnected. We hadn't seen each other since I was a little boy, And my grandmother would just tell me stories, and I would get chills because she was just like, you're just like your grandfather. You're your grandfather. Very social.
And that's what people say about like skipping generations.
It definitely does. It definitely does.
I need to give you a book of how to use the microphone. Now you're too close. Just there, aim there, just have a little distance.
Okay, is that good? Okay, you tell me. I'm trying to do it right. Okay, boo, relax. Okay, okay.
Just this close. Yeah? Okay, like this.
Okay, back here.
Yeah,
is that good?
That's perfect.
Okay,
yeah, you don't have to touch it with your lips.
Okay.
I have a question. Because who your grandfather was, and because of you being a black man from the US, what do you make of what has been happening the last few years with all the BLM movement? And
I mean, my grandfather went through a lot in his day. I didn't have to experience that. I've experienced being called nigger or growing up in Vegas, but I've never had to experience being hosed down or being put in jail or being beaten or had dogs after you, so, I mean, he went through all of that stuff. He had to work hard to get to where he was. Not only was he a narcotic cop, but then he became district judge. Like he became the judge, and then they built a complex after him. And from him having a stroke, he wanted to make sure that all the cadets, the cops, had a gym. So he was one of the first to make sure that this police station named after him had a proper facility for fitness.
Wow.
Which I thought was crazy because I'm very into fitness, So he got that, but of course everything comes to the. I mean, there's always going to be racism. There's always going to be racism. It is what it is. As soon as you start to put people in different classes, upper class, middle class, whatever, if we cannot just be one, it's always going to exist.
And it always existed.
It always existed.
Oh yeah, it's always been there around, and it's like it's interesting when people say in Eastern Europe there's no racism, but there's a different type of distinguishing and putting people in certain groups and saying like, oh, those people are from that area of like
it's not necessarily race, because in East Europe there's mostly one race, but then it becomes classism and religion and
also working in media. I mean, I stopped watching news when I worked for news, because all they showed was stories of violence in the black communities, right? It's like when I grew up in mostly white neighborhoods in Vegas, but when I moved to New York, I was like, I'm going to live in Harlem. Like, I'm going to live in a black neighborhood. I want to be with community, right? Experience that. And it was the best thing that I could have done. Best thing I could have done. But to show people there's bad everywhere, right? But to show that the black community is a certain type of way, and then people have a fear of black communities. I remember when I moved there and I said I live in Harlem to my friends in Vegas, they were like, oh my God, what's that like? I'm like, it's the same. It's a neighborhood. It was the best neighborhood. Talk about comedy. Every day was comedy.
Yeah, and you're totally right talking about like the news and news, they just most of it just want to focus on negativity and negative stuff. How often do we see? Because that's the clickbait, right? It's like
I feel that the news is not that I feel it is like this. News are getting worse and worse, because at least before they knew that they had their job, and so now with the internet news becoming bigger and bigger, the corporate news, the CNN, the Fox, they almost have to be radicalized in order to pull an audience.
So they're trying to get ratings too.
Yeah, exactly. So they always try with the clickbait, and the Fox News goes completely insane on one side, other network completely insane on the other side. And that's the problem. The problem is that the news is the place you used to go and you should go to know the truth or to know what's happening.
Well, listen, no news is good news. No news is good news in the States from working at both networks. And when I worked at CNN at the time, that was the best network because they weren't really forcing your opinion. Now, when I worked at Fox News, you know what I mean? They were forcing the opinion of what they thought was, even when Obama was running for president, even when he won president, when he became president, it took them a long time to even announce him as, you know what I mean?
Wow.
as President Obama. You know, they kept saying President-elect or whatever. No, he's the president now. Like, flip the script. Like, come on, get the script right.
One of the craziest experiences what I had regarding news, I studied journalism, investigative journalism in Canada, in Vancouver. It was my first year. And then I remember even in the first session, our professor, so we were talking about what is credible source of news. And he said, just forget about anything what you see on TV. And he literally found us 2 or 3 dodgy looking emails, websites, where you can just read what people are writing, what journalists, independent journalists are writing in different places in the world. And he says, this is the closest you're going to get to have actually the truth.
Yeah.
Okay, first segment.
Pause. We're back again. We had to teach String how to use the mic, but now it's fine. Now let's get... No, actually, before we talk about this next stuff, I want to go back a little bit on the racism. Okay. So, of course, you're from the US, but then you experienced China, you experienced Dubai, and now you are in Bali, and you went... visiting Southeast Asia, Thailand and such. Is in other countries, like, did you have any bad experiences in these other countries? Racism worse, better, same?
Better racism.
It's better racism.
We have a good quality racism in our country.
China was, you know what? China was good. It was funny. It was funny because the word...
You just left me hanging there, by the way. I was doing this.
There you go. Oh, there you go.
Sorry.
I left him hanging.
The word nigga.
Oh yeah.
The word nigga in China means
nigga.
That.
They say nigga.
They say nigga. They say nigga. That means that. And so the first week that I was there, of course,
you were punching people.
Of course, no. Here's the deal. I was trying to catch a cab because I was trying to get to the studio, and Bruce, the owner of the studio, was like, "String, how you like China?" I said, "I don't know what these motherfuckers." Every time I go try to get a cab, they saying nigga, nigga. I said, "What is up with that?" You know what I mean? And they're driving off. So I said, "I don't know if I like this place. I don't know if I like this place or not." And I'm okay with this. I'm okay with it because we say it. We do say it amongst each other. I mean, some friends, we say, nigga or whatever. But I was like, this is a lot of nigga. Like, and I just got to this.
It's worse than Harlem.
He said, no string. He goes, no string. Calm down. Nigga means that. Oh, I was that. Okay, got it. Because I keep hearing him say it.
So they were saying double.
They say that. And exactly. We're not going to have that one.
So I was like, okay, got it. There was, I mean, of course, being a person of color, being black, being different, Chinese people love to take pictures. I mean,
I was going to say that.
I was a celebrity. Like I would go down to this one area called Jintendi, where they had all the it's like an outdoor mall, right, area. And I'd be sitting there just eating whatever I was eating outside during the summertime. And people would come with take photo, and they would get around me. So I was like, oh, this is kind of cool.
It sometimes happens to Toko as well.
But then it got to the point to where if I was on the metro, they'd be staring at you. Like I got really good at that. Remember the staring game when you were a kid? I got really good at that because I was like, okay, I got this. I got this. You gonna stare at me? Okay. And so it was that, but it was just because they didn't know.
Of course,
they didn't see anything different.
I don't think it's that.
But it wasn't bad.
It's malicious per se. But what I noticed having a black girlfriend is that white people racism is more subtle. Like Asian people, like her in Canggu, no, because in Canggu is more multicultural. But when we go out and we do our adventures in the middle of Bali, on the east or west or whatever, like they would stare. Like when a white person stare at an interracial couple, when you look at him, they will look away, almost in shame, like, oh fuck, he's so. Like the Asian don't give a fuck. They're like,
yeah, they stared at you the whole entire time. I had somebody, she stared at me from the time I got from Century City back to this other place that I had gone to.
Maybe he was interested.
The whole entire time. And her fucking teeth, her grill was fucked up. Because her grill was fucked up.
Was golden.
Like, no, her teeth, it was just a mess. But she was like, and it's just the way it is,
But also with white people in Java, they take picture of you.
White people? Or you mean they take
the Javanese take
pictures
picture
of white
just
people?
because you're different. But
Just
this
because you're
also
different.
happened to me. Like I used to live in Iceland for 2.5 years. So one day I bring back home the Icelandic girlfriend that I had at the time, which of course was white as a wall, super blonde eyes,
Like powder.
super blonde hair, super blue eyes. And people in Milan were like, "Oh fuck, can I touch your hair?" I'm like, "Yo, what the fuck are you talking about?" But that's the thing, everything that's different.
Yeah.
But like in Asia, I think it's more of a curiosity than a racism. Sometimes.
Yeah, I never took it. I never took the experience of China as anybody being racist. I mean, it was just different, and they just didn't know. Like I know if a cab driver, if he doesn't speak English, right? Of course he's not going to pick me up because he doesn't speak English, and I don't speak Mandarin. So
You were in Shanghai.
I was in Shanghai. So I never took offense to it.
Talking about pictures and
dick pics.
Now, when they spit, that was the thing. When they spit, they don't give a fuck who they spit on.
I used to live in
When they used
with
to spit,
Chinese
yeah.
in the same house.
Yeah.
Oh,
I lived in the Lane house too with Chinese people too.
Oh,
so I
but
was
when they eat,
this
they
is
make
nasty.
all the
Slurping,
noises.
well, that's supposed to be
Burping, farting.
Yeah, burping, farting, all of that stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I had an interesting experience in
So
Egypt.
nice. So now we are racist against Chinese people.
So
Fuck you.
in Egypt, when we were in Cairo, we had one of the stunt guys. He was like about 6 feet tall, blonde with a long beard. He looked like a little bit like Santa. And people were just swarming around him, like all these Egyptians just running, taking picture, and he was happy to take it. So it
Depends how you take it, but I can see also why it can become annoying.
Yeah, 100%. I would be annoyed straight away.
Because also that's the thing, like, I hate it when people do this stuff without asking permission. Like, for example, and I'm the classic white guy, I get offended for racist stuff that happened to my girlfriend, and she's like, "No, it's fine." I'm like, "No, it's not fine." But she's the one who's receiving it.
Right.
Like, if people ask, "Can I take a picture with you?" It's great. If people come to you and they try to take, I'm like, "Yo, what the fuck are you doing?"
Yeah, there's a difference.
I never got offended by it. I thought it was kind of cool. They were just.
You like the attention.
I did. I actually did because I felt like, listen, they were, taking a picture. Who knows what they were sending it to? You know what I mean? They were having a good time. It wasn't like they would get around me, and it was all good. It was all good.
That's right.
And then Dubai was different too. I mean, of course, Dubai was different.
How was
Not
it?
racism. I mean, but their culture is. They set them side. They put themselves up at a different level. So the way that they talk to you,
Really?
anybody who's not Middle Eastern,
Yeah.
right? That's where there's like, okay,
They think they own you sometimes.
Yes,
Sometimes
that's
you
what
have
it
that
is.
feeling. I'm not, of course, generalities are always wrong, except from
They just
for
think that
Latvian people who are pieces of shit. But yeah, sometimes
they think
in
that you
Dubai.
work for them. That's what it is.
Yeah, you worked for me.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Just like the relationship that me and
Yeah.
Renars have.
we have Italy versus Latvia. It's just like this.
But so let's talk about another thing. How do I say this? So you like dick.
Love it.
You love
Love
dicks.
it. So then I went to a country where there was. So look at this. As much as I like dick, as much as I like dick. Listen, as much as I like dick, I go to China where there's no dick.
Exactly.
What?
And then I go to Dubai where you can get arrested for liking
Shit,
dick.
that's right.
Exactly.
But in
And put
China,
away.
but let's be honest though. I know it happens with straight black guys. I think it's the same with gay. Is it gay? I don't know.
Yeah,
Gay black guys?
Gay black guys.
Like straight black guys, Asia is heaven for them. Because everyone is like, is it true? Is it true? And so all the girls want to have sex with them. Is it true also? Was it true also for you in China?
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, that's why you went to China.
I mean, listen,
Mystery solved.
But listen, it was a challenge to get because I'm not into Asian men.
Right.
I'm not. It wasn't my thing. I'm just not. It's not my
So
thing.
what's your type, honey?
I like you. You got a nice little thing going. You know what I mean?
I got some.
I'm updated.
You
I
see?
don't know
I'd say
why,
that.
but I feel so offended right
Oh
now.
yeah,
No, but
bitch.
you didn't let me finish. I dated an Italian. I've been.
But
with
he
a
was
couple
good looking
Italians.
Italian.
No, but it was great dating. Listen, his name was I call him Rudy. His nickname was Rudy because
Arturo.
his dick was I called his dick. It looked like a Rudy to me, so I called him Rudy.
What's a Rudy?
What is
Just
Rudy?
like a name? Just a nickname, Rudy.
Okay, the dick looked like a Rudy.
I just said his was cute. Like it looks like Rudy.
Wait. Do you know how my girlfriend called my dick? Neville. I'm not
Neville.
even- yeah.
No, she should call it Kraken. Release the Kraken.
No, Neville. I don't know. Well, sorry for interrupting.
He just wanted to.
Rudy. I just wanted
So just so you know what this is nickname.
Where does Neville come from?
Harry Potter.
Okay.
Because
It's one of those tiny snakes.
No, because I call her vagina Voldemort. It's true, by the way.
Now y'all need to change those names.
Oh my God,
Because it
Voldemort.
has no nose, you know.
That would be interesting if it would have a nose. Honey, you should stop taking those steroids. You have a tiny penis.
That's a cute name.
One time I saw a girl. Well, okay. Sorry, Rudy. Let's talk about Rudy. Let's not shame girls for the
So,
size of her clits.
When you were a kid, wait.
You was finishing.
So I was talking about
finished.
the when you pop the doors and when you realized how old you were
when you pop the door.
with the kicks.
When you pop your anal door.
Well, I mean, here's the thing. For me, my experience is different than
I'm
some
done.
people. I came out late for what people consider. I came out when I was 30.
Oh, wow.
But when I came out, of course, there were times you have these flashbacks of when you've had experiences. Of course, when I was in high school, I remember being in high school and being attracted to the football player,
right.
you know, or you know, I was on the swim team. So being attracted to, you know, the male body.
But I don't know, maybe it's difficult to recognize because, for example, that you could see it also as, oh, I want to have that body.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
when I see a beautiful
Exactly.
male
Like,
body, I'm
never-
like, fuck, I'd like
Absolutely.
to have that body.
I mean, that's where it came from. I mean, I've always when I got into swimming, right, and that was the only thing that I was good at because I wasn't good at anything else.
I don't
But
believe you.
I wasn't because I wasn't exposed to balls. My father wasn't around, so I wasn't exposed to football or basketball or anything like that. Swimming just
No,
was something that I
mine was
good at.
just a racist comment. Sorry.
But yeah, the guys that were like they were like my older brothers. You know, it wasn't anything sexual,
Right.
But they had great bodies. I was 2 years younger than them. I remember one of them who's no longer with us, James. He was a funny comedian guy. He was a super funny guy. Had the nicest body. You know, he was half Japanese, half white, and he was handsome. You know, most of the guys, my brothers, were handsome on the swim team.
Mm-hmm.
But I remember, you know, there were times as brothers, right, that we would go on trips to swim meets and we would share the same bed. And I remember feeling nice, like they would, you know, we would cuddle and stuff. I remember how that felt, right? Nothing sexual. No one was turned on. But I remember.
Wait. So you would cuddle, and the guys were fine with cuddle.
Yeah. Like
He didn't come out at that time.
we were brothers. So, for example,
No, but do you hear many stories about cuddling other dudes? Like when you go and sleep in the same bed?
but it wasn't like cuddling.
Yeah,
It
I
was
know, but-
like my brother. Like we would sleep in the same bed. It was like this, my brother. It wasn't like you know,
Yeah,
different
you're not
levels
like
of
big
it.
spoon, small spoon.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
Okay. Were you done that?
I cuddled.
I just know that back in Latvia, if I would try to cuddle any dude, I would be probably looked funny at.
I'm a
But I mean,
physical
it's-
guy,
it's-
so
it's
like to show affection, both
Yeah,
to guys
give
and girls.
no. What,
Yeah.
give a hug and all that stuff, fine. But what I'm saying is like when you're in bed and you just like give a cuddle as like a big spoon, small spoon. I don't.
You freak out.
No, but it wasn't like that. It was like, you know, we were on a team, and it was like the anxiety that some of us had to get sleep because we had competition the next morning. It was like it's going to be okay. It
Okay.
was like that kind of cuddle. It wasn't like anything sexual.
But wait, so you came out of the closet when you were 30.
So
like,
I came out when I was 30, but I was already dipping and doing. I was already
okay,
doing
yeah.
things.
That's what
I
I
was already
mean.
doing
Like,
things.
you came out officially. Unofficially, when did you have your first experience?
So I mean, it always happens in university.
Fair enough.
I must have been like 20. I think I just turned 21.
Well, it's still pretty.
So that was actually when I lost my virginity. I was
Yeah, I
in
was
21 because
21.
my town was just very super Catholic
But it wasn't.
and all that
But
shit.
it wasn't like we just. It was two guys. It was just two of us that got together. We were drinking. We went to this pool. We went to this pool thing, and we hung out in the car. We just were hanging out in the car, and then all of a sudden we just started kissing.
And that was your first kiss?
That was my first
oh,
kiss.
Shit.
Right.
First kiss when you were 21?
First, like, yeah. I mean, I've kissed before. Like, I would go to parties at 16 or whatever, and we would get drunk, and I would kiss girls, like,
Right.
But an actual, like, making out session with another
And did
guy.
you ever had a girlfriend before that? So you never...
Ever sex with a girl?
No.
Right. And then afterwards when you...
So then 23, I met this guy. 23, I'm on my own. I'm in my apartment studio. I met this guy. His name's Bobby. And
Shout out to Bobby.
He worked on a cruise ship, right? So I remember seeing him. I was 20. I think I was 22 at the time. But he caught my attention. Of course, he was like at the pool or something in an apartment complex. And then
You're shallow. You only look at the bodies of guys.
But it was
being
everything.
a chubby guy. I feel offended.
No, but of course he was athlete. He was.
What
from a
did
different
Bobby
country.
have that I don't
He
have?
had body.
Many things. He had body.
He had body.
You're not listening, Chris.
So we had an experience on and off.
Where were you in judo today? You said you're going to come to
Jiu-jitsu.
jiu-jitsu.
I slept in.
There you go.
Sorry.
Sorry.
Tell us about Bobby.
That's
I don't know why. I feel offended.
That's how serious he's about training.
Well,
He
why you
doesn't have
offended?
consistency.
Why are you offended?
Because you only talk about the physique.
Yeah,
of
you're
the
not
guy.
saying personality. You're like, I was so attracted to his
Yeah,
personality.
you didn't say he was so sweet or he was
He
charming.
was sweet.
He was.
You didn't let me get to that part yet.
But it started with body,
But
though.
it started with of course, it started with the body, and it was, it went on from that. But there was experiences that happened from the time I was 21 up until I was 30. There was things that had happened
Right.
with different guys, right? And so Vegas not being a big gay community, they only had two bars at the time. I think it was.
Vegas doesn't have a gay
Not
community.
at that
Are you
time. Not during that time. We're talking the
time.
90s. We're talking the early
Yeah.
90s.
How big is Vegas? How many people? Millions?
I don't know what it was in the 90s, but
Because the best place for gay
San
people to
Francisco.
have would be probably LA,
Los Angeles,
and New York.
San Francisco,
San
right?
Fran. Those three places.
Yeah.
But I think
Vegas-
LA and New York the biggest
Vegas
ones.
just started doing their pride parades after I left. They never
Right.
celebrated it, and it was like it was away. The bars, I mean, they were away from, the casinos, but it was like hidden. It was almost hidden.
Yeah. Because it's still like Vegas, still Christianity and all that stuff.
No, it's very
no?
Mormon.
Christianity
It's
with
just
all
not
that gambling?
big. It's just not a big gay. It's not a big gay
Just not a
community.
big gay community.
There's not a gay and lesbian center. There's not.
Right,
it's just
right,
not. It's not. It's gambling. That's what it is.
I have a question that comes from a set from Louis C.K. Louis C.K. is one of my favorite comedians.
Yeah, I know.
And in one of his set, it was like, because people used to say being gay was wrong. That was something he used to say. People used to say. And he made this connection and was like, wasn't it for gay people a little bit better when it was wrong? Because it added a little bit like, oh my God, I'm
More
doing something so
excitement.
fucked up right now. And he has this routine when he's fucking a dude and it's like, oh my God, I'm breaking my mother's heart. And he's getting even harder doing, I could get arrested for this. Oh, yes.
Can you imagine the Middle East, like when you do that? Oh, I can get stoned to death. I can just...
No, but like... because
extreme games.
Because it's true, and you see this, for example, with drugs, with marijuana. For many people, marijuana was much more interesting when it was illegal because it was illegal, and now it's like whatever. So
Forbidden fruit.
So it took you from 21 when you had your first kiss, your first makeout session, till when you were 30 to say, okay,
Session.
Well, yeah. I mean,
so
by that time,
during these 9 years, was years of exploration? You didn't come out before because you didn't want to, it was nobody else's business, or because it was like a little bit more interesting, the fact that it was undercover?
Well, I was putting myself through university. So let's go back. So when I left the house, I was 18. I left on my 18th birthday. My mother kicked me out of the house when I was 18.
Can you elaborate? Why did she kick you out?
So my mother also dealt with mental illness, right? So you just never knew what you were going to get with her. It was a blessing because the darkness that my sister and I lived through with my mother was deep, right? So that particular summer before I graduated from high school when I was 17. I had to wait till August to leave the house. My car broke down. I couldn't go anywhere. I couldn't work out. I was on the swim team. Couldn't go anywhere. That summer was hell because I couldn't go anywhere, and I had to deal with my mother every day.
That's you 18.
This is me at 17,
17.
about to turn 18.
And that's like the worst age ever when you finally want to be like independent and all
not
that
having any support, not knowing if I was going to university, not knowing what I was doing. My mother was just every day knocking me down to the point to where I thought, okay, maybe I should end this. I'm getting kind of suicidal at this time. So 18 happens. I get kicked out of the house. Blessing. I go to live with my sister, and it was the best. But from that point on, that's when the vibes started to happen, right? But I got caught up in going to school and putting myself through school that I didn't have time to date, right? That was always my excuse. Was like, I don't have time for girlfriends. I'm in the books. Like I got to get this paper. I got to get this degree. So I always used that as an excuse for not dating girls and all that stuff. Now, when I graduate, it took me 8 years to get my degree. That's when the questions of people were like, well, now that you're done with school,
what's the excuse now?
What's the excuse now?
Did you have a sister had some inkling, or she kind of knew what's going on?
I don't know. I mean, it's funny. When I came out, she was the first person that I came out to. And I thought that she would have known. And she was surprised. My sister was very dramatic. She was so dramatic when it came to everything. I mean, I said, Bree, you and I, we couldn't go outside and play. We would put on roller skates, and we would put on like skirts and act like we were in the Olympics, and go in the garage and act like we were doing Olympic skating. I said, and I loved it. You know what I mean? Like, come on. You know what I mean? I loved it. It was great.
Well, the thing is, I did love to dress up as well. I used to wear dresses and everything. My sister dressed me up, and I had fun with it.
But that's the thing. Like, for example, you have a strong feminine side.
Yeah, you know, all of us we have. And I actually, when I lived in Vancouver,
and that's why, and this is a total misconception, but many people ask you, so are you straight? Are you gay? But it doesn't mean anything. And
No. When I lived in Vancouver, I had many gay friends, and one of the guys who was gay, he was so straight. I would never be like the way he acted. He was 10 times more straight than I ever could be. But that's. Yeah,
and I got that from people too. Growing up, people are like, "Are you gay? Are you really?" Like, yeah, because people see the stereotypes of gay people on TV again, what gay people do. Yeah, and me growing up around brothers who were my brothers, I acted the way I act. I don't act any different. This is just who I am. I just like dick. That's it. I mean, you know,
there's people who are vegan.
Cheers for dick.
Everything has his own tastes. Yeah. I like.
But I had to tell that story when I turned 30. I had already done some things. I had already done some things in New York. I was a go-go boy. I was, you know, I was there.
Wait. That's where me and String connect.
Go-go boy. What do you mean specifically?
So you dance on a box and you dance for money.
Oh, okay.
That's what I did.
You tell me every day.
Yeah. So I did. I did.
No one knows who listen podcasts. They don't know that.
And it was great. You know, it was good money. It was a good time. And I did that. I end up in LA, and I'm dating this guy who's taking care of me at the time. And I turned 30. And the two guys who taught me how to do spinning, right, my two, Doug and Cheo, we would have conversations. And you know, Doug would always say, you know, well, when you're ready to come out, you know, you're ready. And then Cheo would say, they know already. Just come out, you know.
Were they straight or?
They're a gay couple.
Okay. Right. So they knew what you went through.
They knew already, yeah. But, you know, like I said, I told my sister, she was the first one. And of course, she was like, oh my God. She made it about her. And I was like, Brie, this is not it's not about you. It's not about you. It's about me. I'm sharing this with you. The rest of the people that I told, I came out on Mother's Day. Day, and I got these cards. I remember, I never forget, and I wrote, Happy Mother's Day. By the way, I'm gay. Exactly. Really? By the way, I'm gay.
I love it.
And the response was so great. They were like, we were waiting. We've been waiting this whole time.
Right.
We were waiting.
So you didn't play straight that well as you thought you did.
With your sister.
People just kind of knew. I mean, I'm 30 years old. I'm not dating anybody.
But also, people always like to be right. So if it would have come out saying, "Oh, now I'm gonna get a wife," people would say, "Yeah, it was time. I knew it." You know, people always know it.
And it was easy because I didn't have to come out to my parents. Of course, I hadn't spoken to my father. My sister told my parents, which I was very upset about because it was my thing.
Yeah, that is.
But
Bree, Come on now.
Yeah, she just that's just.
You're
she
named
was.
after a cheese,
I know,
and that
she's
says
just a-
everything.
Come back to
But
Mike.
she's-
Come back to Mike.
But rest in peace with her, because my sister passed away, so she's no longer with us. But at the time, she was always over the top. Anyway, go
Yeah.
back to who? Go back
And
to
now just come closer to the mic.
Oh, it's the mic. Yes. So, but it was it lifted so much weight off of my shoulders when I did finally come out, because it's a part of me.
Yeah,
it's a part of
100%.
you,
Fuck yeah.
and I'm holding.
Fuck yeah, crazy.
I'm holding on to a secret. I can't hold on to this secret anymore.
Because that's the thing. It only hurts you holding on into this secret.
Exactly.
And it's one of the things where, like, when straight people, like, especially I'm from tiny country in Eastern Europe where, there's no gay people. Of course they are, but they have to hide and because of the society and all that stuff. And it's just like, I sometimes want to tell to my straight friends and who disregard, homosexuality. And it's like, how would you feel that you're not allowed to say that you like that girl? How you feel you're not allowed to hold your girlfriend's hand on the street and make out on the street? How would you feel that people would be doing all this shit to you? And like, I don't understand how people don't understand, because it's like, this is part of me, and this is something what I can't change. This is just the way I am. And one of the craziest things I had, one of my friends from Latvia who has like 2 master degrees, very smart person. And we started talking about the gay situation. I said, I worked in gay clubs. And he's like, how could you do that? That's crazy. Like, it's like, what? They're just people, they just have different orientation in sexuality. And then I said, like, what are you going to do when your daughter or your son is going to say, Daddy, I'm gay? And his response, and I was shocked, there are special schools and special places to send them. Oh. I was like, you fucking kidding me.
I know a few people that were sent to special school. That's crazy.
Jeez.
But what is interesting for me is that I love history. So basically, all this stigma around gay people comes from religion. That's it. Christianity and Muslim.
Yeah.
Because in the old days, the ancient Greek, the ancient Roman were all bisexual.
Egyptians.
They're all bisexual. They're all gay. Alexander the Great, which was one of the greatest conquerors in the world, he was gay as well. And there was not a problem. And so and then the religion came in, and they were like, no, from now on, this is considered wrong.
Yeah.
And it's interesting to me, because the human race evolved, and in many aspects, even though we need to do still a lot, we are evolving. Like, for example, even with racism. Racism right now is super bad. It's not as bad as it used to be. I don't think we're progressing fast enough with racism, but there is a tiny little bit of progress that we're still doing from, for example, the time where your grandparents were alive.
Yeah.
And
very little, though.
Yeah, it's not progressing as fast as it should. Not at all. But with the homosexuality, it went from being completely okay to being completely wrong. And now, finally, after thousands of years, we're turning around again and saying there's nothing wrong about it. And we're back. Now, you told us that one of the key motivator, one of these voices, some of these voices that you were hearing, were the whispers that were telling you, you know what, it's time to go. You cannot stay. It's time to change your life. And you did. And it's amazing because, at least in my life, in my personal experience, when you call it a gut feeling, you call it a whisper, I call it the signs. When I don't follow the signs, I always get fucked. But one of these things was that 2 of your best friends died at age 44, right? And you told us when the cameras were off
record,
the reason why they died, and I feel is very interesting and important to talk about it.
Yeah, I mean, it was when Doug died. That was the hard. Like, so I'm in New York for 2 years. I remember sitting at a cafe, knowing that I was going to be leaving New York at some point. Something was drawing me to LA, right? I go to LA, ended up going to LA, meet Doug and Cheo, who were teaching this spin class at the studio. 4 years later, I'm 30 at the time. Yeah, so 4 years later, they split. Doug's not going down a good direction in life. He's partying. He's doing things that he shouldn't be doing. Ends up dying of AIDS, which is hard because in 2007, no one was dying of AIDS. There's medication, but the two of them had that, that thing where the medication changes your body, you get the stomach, and da 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 da. So they never took the medication
because of that.
Oh wow!
They were handsome. They were very.
Are you serious? They would rather say, "I would rather die or risk dying."
Well, you cannot take the medication. You just got to make sure that your immune system is on point. And
that's what they were trying to do.
Some people don't take it because it had the side effects of the hump on the neck, the stomach bloating. Yeah.
But they were like, we're so fit. We take care of ourselves so much. It just depends on the person. But they were fit athletes before that. I don't think that they would have gotten that. But you just never know.
Right. So and they were actually concerned about that, and that's why they were not taking medications. That is crazy.
So Doug ends up getting sick. He had just turned 44 years old. And
that's not half of your life.
Not going down the right path. He has an amazing story. I mean, he lost both of his parents. He lost his sister. He had no one in his life, right? He was filming a TV show called Workout on Bravo.
Oh, right.
So he was doing some good things, but he also wasn't happy, And he was,
Yeah, it's always many times happen on the outside. Everything is great.
The partying caught up to him because a lot of gay guys, they get caught up in the partying scene, and they're not having protected sex, and there you go. To see this man who was so fit, and then go to the hospital. I remember the day I heard that he was in the hospital, but the day he passed away, I walked to Cedars-Sinai, and I go up to the room, and it wasn't even the same person.
Fuck.
It wasn't the same person. He had just died.
Wow.
But that was like a turning point for me. I remember going home. I did my first AIDS life cycle in his memory, and that's an amazing community. It's a 7-day ride from San Francisco to LA, all gay community. You can be straight and do the ride too, but you raise money for this cause.
Yeah.
You go through towns. You camp at night. It's like summer camp. It's the best thing, 7 days. And then you end at the end of the ride, you end in LA. And you cross the thing, and there's crowds of people cheering, and you're crying and cheering. I get chills thinking about it. I've done it like 7 times. And then 4 years later, Cheo passed away. He had complications with HIV, as you know, can attack the kidneys. So he was on dialysis. He had been on dialysis for a while, and he passed away at 44. I carry his ashes on the AIDS life cycle. I carried his ashes, and then at the end of they have a candlelight vigil. I dumped his ashes at the ocean. We always wanted to do the ride together, so we did the ride together. But he was, just ashes. Sweet. He was a lot of ashes. I was like, what? The guy was like, "What's in your bag?" I was like, "That's Cheo." Just be careful. That's Cheo. It was just, I've had an amazing story, and I always feel like the two of them are with me because I went to LA, did spinning, didn't think I was going to be an instructor. Doug told me I'd be an instructor. I'd be an amazing instructor. That happened, and I look out sometimes. I might see a bird or something because Doug liked birds. Like this morning, I'm sitting out there, and I'm like, okay, that's Doug checking in on me, or that's Cheo checking in on me. You know what I mean? They're always with me.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah.
And then also they helped you with coming out and they were supporting you.
They did. They were just saying that it was okay. I never had anybody tell me that it was okay.
Wow.
This is okay. Like it's
Doug
was always 100%. Like, when you're ready, because Cheo was like, just do it. He's Venezuelan, so he's like, just do it. They know, mijo, they know.
Just build it, and then they will come. I was
like, okay.
And now, do you have a partner? Are you single? Are you seeing somebody?
Single.
Are you grinding?
Single.
Are you Tindering?
No, because Grindr, like I said, Grindr disappeared. All the apps and,
Wait a minute. Here, they're not allowed or something?
Yeah.
They're not allowed.
Oh, yeah, of course.
Yeah. It's not. Oh, shit.
Yeah, but
so what do you use?
Tinder is allowed.
Well, you know what? I had it when I got here, and then it just disappeared.
So, but with Tinder, wouldn't they take the male, like the gay side away then because of Indonesia?
I have no idea. I never tried.
So do they have that?
I never tried.
You don't know
Tinder that way. But what I know is that on Tinder, at least in the male looking for female section, there are gay guys.
Yeah, I've seen many dudes
Yeah,
when I'm scrolling through. Oh no, I'm not. But I heard about it. Yeah,
My friend told me.
my friend told me.
No, I mean it's been it's one of those things. It's been
So,
good to really
String is looking.
sit still. I'm not even looking to be
Look
honest.
at this handsome
I'm
man.
trying to pimp you out.
It's nice of you to do that, but to be honest, I'm kind of like I'm okay with
It's gonna happen.
Just-
gonna happen, man. So,
yeah, when it's gonna happen, it's gonna happen.
All right,
Listen,
so
I'm 48
String
right
now. We didn't touch upon this. I'm just gonna say briefly. Used to be a comedian. He performed in some of the biggest comedy stores across the U.S. And now that he's back in Bali, he decided to start again with comedy. With, of course, I'm talking about our comedy, the Bali Comedy Club. So, if you want to meet
come to Deus
a nice, sexy chocolate man,
Fridays.
I'm fluffing up the show too. I'm fluffing it up.
Oh, he did it. Oh, he did this like what? In 1 hour?
We call it
You did
fluffing.
what?
more, 2
Yes.
hours of fluffing.
Oh my God!
This time I want
Okay,
to
first
do
of all,
much
those who don't know what fluffing is, fluffing comes from I know this information from porn.
Yes.
Sometimes when the porn performers they can't perform anymore, then the fluffer comes in and fluffs it up. So that's what String did for
Which
our
is
comedy
basically
show.
giving a hand job.
No,
Blow
blow
job,
job.
baby.
Okay, sorry.
Are you
The whole
serious?
thing.
I don't know.
But it could be it could be a hand
It could be a hand
too.
job.
It could be a
It
hand
could be
job.
like armpit job. It could be boob job. Just whatever gets it up.
And anybody could be the fluffer. It could be the camera guy that had to do if they didn't have
Do
a
both.
fluffer,
Yeah.
exactly.
It's just like,
Back in
oh,
the
keep
day.
rolling, keep rolling.
Yeah.
We get
Back
some
in the
good
day.
shots here.
Yeah.
And String did it last Friday for 2 hours.
Wait. He
Was it?
didn't give blowjob for 2 hours.
No, I didn't get blowjob.
The same
That'd
concept
have
that,
been
that
nice,
was
though.
after the show.
But this
The
Friday-
the same concept goes with comedy. In Italy, in Italian, we call it the audience warmer.
Warm upper.
Basically, it makes sure because Bali time is notorious. So when we say we start at 7, we probably start 7:30. So basically, from 6 p.m., he was just on stage talking to people, and he's very good at it.
He was rapping, he was dancing, he was twerking, he did
he
all
was
of it.
harassing man.
It was great. It was
But
good
okay,
time.
now before we touch some very serious topics, now there's one story that I want to ask you because String came here a little bit earlier, and we talked a little bit, and he asked me, "What's your favorite rapper?" And I said, "My favorite rapper is Kanye." And he said, "I have a Kanye story." I was like, "What?" And he was like, "You want me to tell you?" No, wait for the podcast. So now I want to know your Kanye story. And I have very high expectation of this Kanye
Yeah, it
story.
can't be just, oh yeah, I saw him in a
Yeah,
club
I
and he
saw-
said hello.
No,
And he said, what's up, man? And that's it.
no, it's a good comedy story. So I'm performing at Caroline's on Broadway, right? Now it's difficult to do stand-up open mics because you really have to bring people. It's a bringer. If you don't bring anybody into the club, you don't go up on stage.
And you said like, depending how many people, that's how many minutes
So
you're
if
going to
you
get on
bring
stage.
If you bring 5 people,
5 minutes.
exactly.
Wow.
But
So
if you're
Renars
good,
would do 0 minutes.
so I would
Tomorrow, no, day after tomorrow.
Yeah, so I would, but I was also good with the booker of Caroline's.
Oh, right.
She was my comedy coach, and so that particular night, I think I had like 4 people, and she's like, I'm gonna give you some extra time or whatever. So Kanye comes in with his entourage.
No, that's sick.
This is a Monday night.
And did
in
you just
Manhattan.
shout it out to your manager? That guy's with me.
This is-
Add me more minutes.
So he comes in. The show had already started, right? I hadn't even gone up yet, and it's open mic, right? So they had they had 2 different rooms, comedy rooms. They had the main room, then they had our room for us.
and Kanye went to the other one. That's it. End of
Oh,
the
so
story.
he comes in. He comes with his entourage, and of course, immediately some of the comedians are shouting him out, saying stuff to him. I'm a fan of Kanye. I don't say nothing. I just do my set. I just do my bit. Went well, right? So we end the open mic, and we're in the lobby, and it's over. They're getting ready to go to the main stage where the main show is going to be that particular night. And he comes over to me, and he
Shit.
says to me, "You're really good. I enjoyed that. Shook my hand.
And then
Everything."
you sucked his dick.
And it was in. And here's the cool thing about it is that it was in the New York Times the next day. The write up: Kanye West seen at Caroline's. So when I told people that I performed and I met him,
Damn.
it wasn't like I was making up shit. They saw it. They're like, "Yo, he was there at open mic." For him to say that and take the time to come over to me and shake
No,
my
yeah,
hand,
exactly. That's lovely.
So And then
That's
when
awesome.
the whole MTV Music Award thing went down with him and Taylor Swift, you know what I mean?
That was awesome.
I was like, he's going through shit. You know what I mean?
He's going through shit. He just
always
saw
is going
me
through
doing
shit.
a comedy. He's going through shit.
He's always going through shit.
Fuck Kanye.
But he's a genius.
Did you hear his podcast with Joe Rogan?
Yes.
Fuck man,
Yeah.
that was something. That was a trip.
He just thinks in a different
Yeah,
way.
yeah, he's special.
But he's got a good story, you know.
But he also I think he has a good heart.
He does.
He's
Yeah,
going to
he
be
has a
the
good
new
heart.
American president.
He does.
After Biden.
He has a
God.
real
We're
good
going to
story.
have
No,
Kanye 2024.
Because listen, most celebrities don't do that. Most celebrities don't come up to you and say that.
Yeah.
They don't say nothing to you.
Yeah.
that's awesome.
So that was my Kanye story.
So vote for Kanye.
That's a good one. I like that. LA is kind of crazy. When I lived in LA, I somehow ended up being in Bryan Singer's house. Do you know who's Bryan Singer? The one who he's an X-Men creator. He's the director and everything. I was on Thanksgiving Day in his kitchen eating his Thanksgiving pie.
And you didn't impress him because you're not in the X-Men.
No, we were just talking. What do you mean? Yeah,
Because you're an actor.
yeah, but that was long time before. That was like 10 years before I became a stuntman. And he was just telling how he was just coming with up ideas, and we're just randomly sitting there and talking, and then and like for me, I do get starstruck when I met Samuel L. Jackson. I was like, oh my god, what to do? But like usually I just try to talk to them as just normal people, which they are.
They don't want us leakers.
Yeah,
not
like
at all. Not at all.
no one likes.
I mean, like, for example, it happens to me a lot because I'm a famous comedian here in Bali. And everyone comes, oh my God, I love your comedy. Oh my God, you're so talented.
I wish you would be more handsome.
And I'm like, tell me something I don't know, It's like, I know I'm talented. I know I'm funny. Fuck you,
Yeah, I will tell you something. Go to Bali MMA to gym.
Can I please give you free stuff? Yeah, okay, sure.
Tough.
Tough life.
Tell us something about what would
The
you
future.
like? The future. What future holds for you? Do you have a plan, or you just go with the flow? What is the deal?
It's just
What is your blueprint?
put in the tip.
Well, now I think after being here for over a year, I know that there's some kind of calling that I've been placed to do something here.
Yeah.
There's a couple of ideas. I mean, I'm a big time community builder. Like I love bringing people together. That's very important. I love music. I love fashion. I love, urban culture. And so what I'm seeing after being in Canggu for 3 weeks, I'm seeing like this possibility of whatever's going to be. I've done, production work and hospitality, and I did chefing. And so there's something that's going to happen. And in the Soul Cycle, the whole Soul Cycle thing too, with
Because the skills,
branding.
the set of skills you have,
Yeah.
it's incredible, man. You've done it all.
Yeah, I mean it's crazy when you sit down. I was able to sit down in Ubud for the year and finally get it. The whispers and all that stuff. You get it. You're like, okay, now I get why I'm here. Now I get why China happened. I get why this happened. I get why I was in LA to meet these two pioneers who helped me become the instructor that I was. I get all these different things. I get why I watched the brand of Soul Cycle build and
So it's almost kind of came and it just kind of makes sense.
It's like puzzle pieces. Puzzles. And so it feels like
awesome,
this is where something's going to pop off. I don't know what, but
I think it will, and we're looking to see your progress here in Bali. We're very happy that you're now part of the Bali family that we have.
Yes, I'm very excited.
He's been way longer than I in this Bali family for sure.
I feel like I added the seasoning.
Our Bali family.
Our Bali family.
I feel like I added a little bit of seasoning to the mix.
Yeah.
I added
100%.
a little seasoning to the mix.
There's so my girlfriend is South African. They have this mix of spice which is called aromat, which is said to make everything better, and that's just like you. That's a good compliment.
That is. It's good that you acknowledge that and said it out loud. That is a good compliment.
It is. It is. And Renars, you should also listen to the voices.
What would you like to tell to young people who struggle with yes, I hate my job, I hate my life, I want to change something.
No,
I want to
I want to change it. Fuck that. Not to the young people, because everyone talks
to
to
anyone.
the young
Yes,
people.
yeah, no,
Talk
to anyone.
To talk to the 40-year-old that are
you're
stuck.
right. No, to anyone.
Okay.
It doesn't matter, young, old. It's about like that you have whispers, gut feeling. What was your, how do you call it? Science. You said science. If you see science, yeah. Not science, obviously. Look at you. So what do you like? Because you have a niece. You're a mentor for your niece.
Yes,
Would you?
yes.
You know, you are.
Yeah, I always tell her. I mean, from the time she was 12, I said, "There's anything is possible." From the time she was 12 years old, she said she wanted to be a tattoo artist.
All right.
And she knew that she wanted.
She
to be
definitely
a
has
tattoo
to come to Bali.
And she's on that path right now. And she now says at 23 years old, "Uncle, you always told me that I could do it." I'm like, absolutely. I said, that's what you want to go do. Anything is possible.
Yeah.
And always listen to those whispers. Always go with your gut. Always. I mean, those things have gotten me out of situations. You know, if I didn't listen to a whisper, it got me in a bad situation. Right? Like I remember crossing a group of guys in Harlem and saying, the whisper was like, don't do it. And I did it anyway. And I got punched. That's how I learned how to box.
That's how it happens.
You know what I mean? So always listen to your gut. Always listen to those whispers and just jump. You know, when it feels right to just jump. I mean, what's the worst that can fucking happen? You go back.
Exactly.
But if you don't jump, you don't fly.
Oh, I like it.
I
You know what I mean?
believe I can fly.
Exactly.
But then you can fall and
That's the
crush
problem. Is a
your
lot of people
bones.
ain't jumping. They're
I
not jumping.
believe I
People
can
are sitting back. You know, they're not jumping. They're comfortable, and life is not supposed to be comfortable.
Why people can't jump?
It's supposed to be like that fucking shortcut. I was on the shortcut today.
Yeah, for those who don't know what shortcut is, it's basically a shortcut in Bali. If you try to cross it, it's like going through a ninja warrior on a scooter. There's holes, there's bricks falling out, and it's like
not that bad.
It's
people falling off of it and
scooters
stuff.
and shit. Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry, shortcut.
It's like that. Life is like the shortcut. It's very uncomfortable, right? But life is not supposed to be comfortable. It's supposed to be uncomfortable, right?
I like
When you
it.
get too comfortable.
I'm not sure about life is not supposed to be comfortable.
It's not
because
supposed to be
in a sense is what is the comfort? What does it represent? Comfort for me, comfort represents when I do stuff what I know that I love doing it. You know, and that is my comfort, even though it can be tough and I have to learn and all that stuff.
I'm talking about being comfortable in the way that things are, right? Working the job 9 to 5 that you don't like.
But that is uncomfortable for me, for a lot of people, to do 9 to 5 jobs.
Yeah.
I think that too many people settle down and they say, well, this is just as good as it can get. Fuck it.
Yeah.
Like they don't... You get out of life the amount of effort that you put into life.
Absolutely.
And of course shit happens and shit can go wrong. But if you, as he said, if you don't jump, you can't fly. But maybe you'll jump and you break your bone. So...
Before we end, how about you tell us like some crazy shit? What all comes on top of your head in your life, from
some funny shit,
from crazy shit, funny shit, any shit. Just tell us a story.
Crazy shit. Like what? You got to give me like a little bit.
Well, anything like something what was in go-go clubs when you used to work there. Something when you were as a comedian when you worked in doing comedy. Something you just with your family. Swimming when like competition. What kind of competitions? How high did you get? What level did you get?
I got to junior nationals,
right,
which was pretty good. And then that was it.
For a black man.
For a black man, that's good.
Yeah, because one of the other
that
things
is good.
In your team, what was the ratio of black people, white people?
There was in the beginning when I first started swimming, there was 4 of us.
They drowned.
Yeah, the other 2 quit because they were like, "This is fucking up my."
Yeah, and out of how many?
This is fucking up my hair. This is fucking up my skin, right?
Because you have to be bold the whole time.
Well, I wasn't. So here's the thing: I had a fucking like wannabe Jerry curl at one point. It was called an S curl, right? And it's a kit that you put in your hair to make your hair wavy, right?
Oh.
My mom puts this shit in my hair. I'm looking all fly. Lando Calrissian from Star Wars. My shit, I get in the fucking water. That shit was flat straight. So There wasn't that many people. It wasn't. It's not easy. I mean, it's it's another. It's it's true. I mean, you don't see that many African Americans.
Well, is it stereotype? What is the deal? Is there something just
No,
that black people don't like water?
That's
or
what it is. We're not exposed to it.
right?
We're not exposed to that type of sport.
Yeah. Because like in UK, there's a lot of it's a very big black community.
Yeah.
But yeah, to see someone be in a swimming pool and being black, it's
and I
pretty
was
much
good at it.
impossible.
That's the thing is that I was good at it. You know, it was great because it taught me discipline, and my coaches. I always think about if I didn't have coaches and teachers like that, those are the ones who set the foundation for where I'm at today.
Right. Okay, what about the crazy story though?
But I don't know any crazy story. I'm trying to find out.
Well, I think we should listen to the whisper, which is
to end it.
we're done now. So
You want a crazy story? You want a crazy story? You got to come to Comedy Night on Friday night.
Hey,
boom. So
here you go.
thank
That's
you
it.
very much to
Just a
String.
tip. Just a tip.
Thank you to the fucking mosquito, the bee.
The flies, we have everything here
The
today.
monkeys,
Nature is
the
going
monkeys,
crazy.
The lizards, the geckos.
This is a collection of blueprints. If you don't like this name, it's because he chose it. If he likes it, if you like this name, it's because I said, okay, we can use
I
this
like
name.
it.
Okay, I
like
said
it.
yes.
Yeah, we have
like
first person who likes it.
collection
If anyone has better suggestions, go for it. We definitely can change it. But for now,
You
this is
can
what we
find
got.
us on YouTube, and I'm gonna upload this on Spotify, Anchor, Google Podcast, and all that nice stuff. Thank you very much.
Thank you guys.
And as always,
Thank you all.
wear a condom.
Oh my god! Last time was eat vegetables.
And not
And
just
every
the-
day I try
and not
to
just the
give.
tip.
New stuff, right? Thanks, String. Thanks
Thank
for
you,
coming.
guys.
Thanks for
Thanks for
having
having
this
me.
time.
Enjoyed it.
Cool stuff.
All right.
Boom.
Peace.
Broski.